In this tutorial, we're going to look at a few ways to help you navigate the web better to do research. First, making information come to you, and then going out and looking for information. We'll start with the RSS feed. RSS is a way to get changing web content delivered to you. So when changes are made on a website and you want to know about it, you can subscribe to an RSS feed in order to follow those changes. So as an example, take a look here on ScienceDaily.com. You can see right here it says subscribe, RSS feeds. And you'll always see that little microphone type icon. Usually it's in orange. If you click on this, you'll see a list of feeds here to which you can subscribe. And you'll take that URL and bring it into your reader. Click Add. Your reader will find it, and you click Add. That way you'll get any changes and any new articles that come into ScienceDaily.com right in your reader in one place. So you don't have to go to ScienceDaily.com every day to look at what's new. Sometimes you find websites that don't have RSS feeds. There are fewer and fewer of them. However, they do exist. And if that's the case, you might want to subscribe to an email alert instead. I've just picked WTO, WorldTradeOrganization.org, as an example. So you would click here on email updates, enter your email and password, and you would click on journalist and register yourself as a journalist to get access to the media newsroom and media materials. And this will assure that you receive an email with any new information from that organization's website. You can also fill in a Google alert. So if you go to google.com/alerts and you type in a search query, this might be a person that you're following. So let's say, for example, we are following Bill Haslam. We'll put his name in here, specify that we want news related to Bill Haslam in the English language. We want it as it happens, and email address and create alert. So anytime there's a news story that mentions or is about Bill Haslam, it's going to send it to your email. Finally, you can use a website called changedetection.com. This is a way to monitor a website for its changes. So if we were following the World Trade Organization and we wanted to know every time they made a change to the website, in other words, if something's added to it or something's taken away or a new story is released, you just put the page address in here and you put your email address in here, and you will get an email whenever a certain change happens on a website. So that's another way to monitor a website if it doesn't have an RSS feed and it doesn't have an email alert option. Improving your web search. There are a few ways you can use Google to search for stories or information or to do research that are a little easier than just typing in random words. First, quotation marks for exact phrases. So you might type in the word crime statistics. You notice how the words crime, though, and statistics don't always appear together when I search like this. And if I put quotation marks around those two words, it assures me that they will always appear together in my search results. You can also use a minus sign to get rid of words that you don't want to search for. So one of the examples I like to use for this is Jimmy Choo. Everyone associates Jimmy Choo with designer shoes. However, what if I'm searching for things related to Jimmy Choo or his business, but not the shoes? I could type in the minus sign and the word shoes, and that will return search results, as you can see here, related to spa, handbags, perfume, sunglasses, but it has eliminated the search on shoes. Okay, so a minus sign will get rid of search terms that you don't want. You can use the tilde or squiggly sign to include similar phrases or synonyms. So the tilde looks like this. And say you have a phrase like World War II. World War II with Roman numeral, with an Arabic numeral. It might be written Second World War. It might be shortened to WW2. So you could just write in one of those, World War II, say, and it will bring back searches that should include not just World War II as you wrote it, but in all its various forms. Okay, so that's a way to broaden a search. So the minus sign lets you narrow a search, and the tilde lets you broaden. Don't forget you might have to use specific words too to the industry that you're researching. So as an example, we all know what fracking is, essentially drilling for oil. The technical term, though, or the way that it would be spoken in the industry might be hydraulic fracturing. So you might need to search on hydraulic fracturing instead of fracking to get back a better set of results. You can search a specific website by putting that website's URL into your search bar. So instead of just going to the New York Times here and then searching within the New York Times website, you can just put newyorktimes.com into your search bar with a colon, and then say you're searching for articles related to immigration. You might type that in, click enter, and you'll see here you have only search results on immigration or that contain immigration on the New York Times website. You can also search for a specific file type. This is really useful when you're looking for databases of information or spreadsheets that have information. Let's say we're searching for Tennessee crime statistics, let's say 2010. And if I'm looking for an Excel spreadsheet of some sort, I can type file type, colon, XLS. Enter, and this will return only Excel spreadsheets, as you can see here. You'll see all the XLS. Now it's telling me that there are no results found. This might mean that there's nothing for the XLS, for Excel documents. So I might need to try something like PDF. Ah, that works. So now suddenly I have, from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, PDFs of crime statistics in Tennessee for 2010. You can also type in the word database, and this will look for databases related to Tennessee crime statistics. The other thing you can do is try a different kind of search engine. So Google is not the only search engine, obviously. DuckDuckGo.com is an interesting one because it doesn't track you. Why does that matter? Well, when Google tracks you, it assumes that based on your search history, you might be looking for certain things. If you're not tracked, there's no search history to go from. So it means you might get more original responses, or you might get a more varied set of responses. So if you're not getting anywhere with your search on Google, or it's turning up too many of the same things, you might try a search engine like DuckDuckGo. Lastly, you want to try use primary sources whenever possible. So what is a primary source? It's essentially a source of information that was created during the time under study by the people who studied it or wrote it. Letters, a speech, an interview. So if you do interviews with sources, those would be considered primary sources. Official records, a scientific study, all of those things are examples. A secondary source typically interprets and analyzes primary sources. Examples might include textbooks, criticisms, news stories. So you don't want to rely on the reporting or the critiques or the commentaries of other people for your stories. It's okay to consult them, but you don't necessarily want to rely on those too heavily. You want to look at the primary sources. So you can use some of the search tools we talked about, looking for databases, Excel and PDF files, things like that that just won't come up in an ordinary Google search. So LexisNexis Academic and Google Scholar are two databases that you might consider using for primary source research as well. So those are just a few search tips to help get you started. If you think you're pretty comfortable with all of this, go ahead and take the short quiz and